Gold hit a 3,500 level here, and then it has probably created a double top here. Is it going to fall down further, or is it going to consolidate? What kind of scenarios are available here on the higher time frame, and what kind of important levels that we can look for? Let's find out in this analysis. Stay tuned. All right, so we are going to start looking at gold now, XAUUSD. Thanks for joining me here. My name is Vic. I'm the founder of Vikinsa Capital Management. So we'll start from a weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, what we can clearly see that the market hit this 3,500 level around here, and there was a sharp reaction to that. The market fell down. This was a huge bearish pin bar that came out. Now, after that, we had another bearish week. Usually, when this pattern forms, the next week or the next candle or the next move is towards the downside, because this is a kind of pattern which is telling you that the market is rejecting, and that market rejection has been confirmed as well. But this confirmation, this candle I'm talking about, this candle has been overcome by bullish candle. As you can see, they are equal in size. So whatever the market did here, the market has been able to go back up, and now those two candles are equal. So what does it mean? It means that in terms of price action, this never happened in terms of candlestick patterns. The only thing that we have right now is these bullish candles followed by one bearish pin bar. So it remains to be seen how the market is going to close next week. So next week is going to be very important, because it may actually set tone for the next bearish or bullish move. So next week is going to be very, very important in terms of price action. So that is the weekly time frame that I'm looking at. If I look at the daily time frame, what we have is the market went higher, really nice, move to the 3,500. Immediately after touching that psychological level, it came down, okay, and then started to go up. Now this is I alerted most of my students and some of my private clients as well that the market was bullish from here, and the market could go back up into around this area, or even 3,500 to retest it, because this is usually what happens when the market touches a psychological level. It tries to go back to that. Now, having said that, the market never actually tested this 3,000 level, right? And this is still untested. You see what happened? The market actually came down and it went up. It never actually came down for another retest. So that is one of the scenarios. But we'll look into that one of the scenarios in just a minute. So what we have right now, the market is in kind of consolidation at the moment. So that actually gives us three obvious scenarios on higher time frame. One is breakout to the upside, okay. Second one is the breakout to the side downside, okay, which can bring us to approximately 3,000. As I said, 3K has not been tested yet. And the third one is that the market may consolidate here for quite some time and then decide. So all three scenarios on higher time frame are still open. Now let's look at what can happen if the market starts to follow one of those scenarios. So on 4 hour time frame, if I see, the market has created a W pattern. Now I've been taking longs and shorts all the way this down, and I've been actually posting about them on Twitter as well. If you follow me on Twitter, then you probably are aware that I've been posting all of these in this thread since April 22. Actually, I do post quite a bit here. So this is each and every move that we have been looking into. Now these moves and these things I've also been, this is the long that I've been taking, and this is one, okay, and then there was a short here which was I'll show you that why I took that short. But all of these moves are also analyzed and discussed and taken, majority of them were taken as well by FCP students in our FCP Discord room. As you can see, this is our FCP Discord room where we share our analysis and discuss possible opportunities, and we also sometimes look into we share our trade ideas as well here, okay. So here on FOMC we had two targets hit on a short side, and then before that we have another one we had this trade. So let me talk about this one as well. why I could be looking for that. Now, the reason why I was looking for that short from here is simply because, as I said, like the market touched that 3,500 and it had a sharp move to the downside. Now, from here, because the market was as a structure level and also an FCP zone, we were looking for a long. We went long, and then once the market reached this particular level, what was so special about that level? The market completed a W pattern here, right? When the W pattern, when a W pattern completes, the market tends to fall, and that's exactly what I posted here, right here, because the market was reaching a W pattern here, completed W pattern here, and when W pattern completes, the market tends to correct. So that is why, we were able to take a short from here. Now, because the higher time frame is supposed to fall, so now here majority of my trades, majority of our trades have been towards the short side, because the higher time frame is telling us that it is supposed to go down. So another one was this W pattern, and then once the market fell through it, we were discussing about this, I personally took this short as well, and then I did not take this long from here because it was already a bit too late for me around the time. But on Friday I was able to take another short from here. Why? Because of again a W pattern. And you can see in this thing, right, around this area, what is happening is that in this process it can actually form another M, or it can form a W, right? So we'll see how it actually reaches our target. So it's all about reading those market structures, leading these legs, and finding out where those W and M patterns are going to complete. Now, thinking of talking about those scenarios I was talking about. Okay, so we have this W pattern, and if the market continues to fall down, and if it breaks through this previous structure around 3,240, if it breaks through that, then we have a possibility of market coming down to 3000, retest of 3000. Why? Because we will have this M pattern with a W pattern embedded in it. Okay, and this is I'm looking at on 4 hour, or you can say daily time frame. On smaller time frames there are other structures, but that is not going to be scope for us, because it's going to be too much. Now if I show you even bigger time frame, so three possibilities that I mentioned you before was like this. First one was consolidation, so it can just continue to consolidate and we can get a lot of WNM patterns around here. If the market breaks through this, then we will get a bigger M pattern, bringing it down to 3000 approximately. Okay, now third possibility is that if the market breaks through this previous high, right, the recent high, which is around 3425, then market can go to all-time high, because we will get an extended W pattern, and I'll show you some of those levels which we can look into, the approximate levels there. Okay, now if I show you, let's let's look into 1 hour time frame as well, right, just to give you an idea, bit of idea. Okay, so this is the trade that I was talking about. So on Friday the market was consolidating for a long period of time. I was able to take one little trade here, which I managed to take a partial on, but then I got stopped out on the break even for the partial. And then after that, I was able to take this trade, which went really nice, right? It was 70 pips or so. And the reason was very simple. This was a W pattern completion, and that is why. So you see, I've been able to take this one, and this is still running on risk free. So why I took this is because of this W pattern, and why I took this one from here, this short from here, because of the structure here, right? And why I took this one is because of W pattern. So you see, you can keep on playing all of these W and M patterns. Now if the market continues to fall, right now what is happening is that market has been building this trend line, which means that at some point in time the market can actually break through that. So what can happen is something like this is one of the scenarios I'm aware of. The market can come down and then go back up like this. So that is one thing. So we will have to see how it behaves around here. If the market breaks through this previous low of around 3280, then I'm expecting it to drop to target this previous low as well, which is going to be 3230. Now if 3230 is broken, which is basically around this area, then we will have bigger chance of it falling down to 3000. However, we also have 200 SMA around this area, so I'm not expecting this to get broken easily. So you have to be very, very careful around this area, which is around 3240. And if the market bounces up from here again after formation of this M pattern, then it can again consolidate, or it can go previous highs. So right now, as I see this, much more possibility of consolidation, because this high point, or this upper point, is still acting as resistance, and this lower point may act as support, but we'll have to see how it actually behaves if it reaches around here once again. So as I said, if it gets broken, then we have 3000, and if it gets broken, then we are looking at all-time high and possibly even higher side, right? So what I'm going to do personally is going to monitor how this behaves around here. And if it starts to give me any long signals, then what I will do is I will get out of my short, which is partial position already, and then I will plan for a long. And if it continues to go up and if it breaks the previous high, then I'm going to look for a long into something like this, which is going to be a W pattern. So there is you have to stay fluid in the market, and you'll have to keep on updating your trading plan accordingly. Okay, and let me show you some of the levels that I've marked. Now, if you have been following my analysis, you might have seen that 3306, it seems it is a very important level now. If you have been following my analysis for quite a long time, then you know that there I usually find some of these levels. There was a level called 1806 long time ago, and then there was another one called a 1924. So all of these levels that I mark in yellow, those are usually very important levels. The price keeps on coming back to them. They're kind of pivot level. Whenever the price goes beyond them, it comes back to them. Whenever it goes beyond them, it comes back to them. So it kind of like that. We also have the structure level here, which is going to be important because so far the market has been respecting that. Okay, this is the level that I shorted on Friday. Okay, so these levels are approximate levels, right? A premium analysis report will have a lot more levels, a lot more refined levels and zones, but these should give you an idea, approximate idea, where, or what is the important support or resistance level, which are present here. If you enjoyed this analysis, please make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other traders and trading communities. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Find and follow us on these social media channels.